don't worry about it too much as long as you're still making progress in your journey. And at some point you'll stop and then then maybe play around, see if you can squeeze out those further marginal gains with higher volume or lower volume, or you know, maybe your bulking becomes a little dirtier or it becomes like whatever, right? There's just a lot of variables. But what I'm saying is don't fixate on volume too much if you've got the other variables right, and then you have to figure out what's working for you, for your schedule, for what you enjoy, for or what you can recover from, etc. And that'll change over time too, right? Like early on, maybe low volume is great for you because you just train a couple times a week, take the rest of the week off, come back the next week, and you're good to go. But then after a few weeks of that, you find, oh, I'm recovering. I can train again later in the week. So then you bump up your volume towards something more moderate. And also, vice versa. It could be that you've been training high volume and you're starting to feel beat up, and so you cut it back. So if there are problems that are resulting potentially from your volume, sure, make a change. If you're feeling like I'm training really hard, like as hard as I possibly can for a couple of sets, right? Very, very high intensity, beyond failure, complete blood and guts kind of stuff. And still, you're not, perhaps you're not the strongest person in the world. I don't think this perfectly correlates, I should say, as a side note, but if you're a bit typically like a more naturally strong, explosive person, low volume may be more suitable for you. And if you're generally on the other end of the spectrum, maybe higher volume could work for you because you just can't destroy your body as much, so you can recover faster and go again. So yeah, with all that said, just going back to what I was saying, if you're at super high volume and your body's breaking down, start pulling it back. And if you're at super low volume and you're finding that you're itching to go again, you've done your really high intensity stuff, but you're just not very sore, you're not very fatigued, and also you're psychologically ready to go again, then fucking go. Like, there's no reason to hold yourself back. And I think a lot of people often end up in a more like moderate-ish range of like somewhere in the teens, right? Whether it's lower teens or higher teens. I think that's actually typically the range most people fall into. Again, that's not a prescriptive thing from my end. That's just descriptive. I find that most people per body part are somewhere in the teens, low to high teens. So yeah, what's not being discussed is you all have a genetic limit. We all do, right? And if we're in it for the long haul, and as long as the gains are still coming along, don't worry too much about the volume. Do what works for you, what works for your schedule, what works for your lifestyle.